Morning everyone. It's a nice sunny Tuesday the 28th of November. I've just removed the seats from the van and the trim panels up the side, and I've taken the lid off the cover to where the Genisys modules are. So this is a bit of a journey of discovery. I think the first thing I'll say is a lot of people get nervous about ambulance electrics. They're not really that complex. Yes, you've got lots of flashing lights and there's a control unit that's connected by a network cable to it. But if you just think of it as a box that switches stuff on and off, two of these boxes switch stuff on and off, and one of these boxes receives information from the control units and signals from things like the handbrake switch and stuff like that. And Genisys just acts on instructions. It's got a little bit of programming, so certain things won't work if certain other things don't happen. For example, it won't let the step out if the vehicle is in motion or if the handbrake's off. That's just logic, and you can emulate that yourself using relays and things like that. The important thing to realise, as I said, is it's just a box that turns stuff on and off. And the vast majority of things that this is turning on and off can be done just as easily by taking the wire from the connector relating to the actual output you want to play with and connecting it via a fuse and a switch so you can turn it on and off. Now you'll notice I mentioned previously in my earlier video that the squirrels had chewed through the cabling, and I said when I finally got the lid off the cabinet where Genisys is, I expect to see a red light, and sure enough there's a red light. It's actually labelled up as spotlights, but that is almost certainly the rear light circuit that is shorting out. And Genisys, if this was an ordinary piece of wiring with a switch and a fuse, the fuse would have blown. But in this case, these boxes use basically intelligent fuses, and it turns a red light on, and it won't provide power on that circuit because it knows it's dead short. But ultimately, a fair chunk of what I'm looking at now is going to be redundant and will be repurposed to straightforward ordinary switches. What I will be keeping, and I will be keeping Genisys in this van, are all the safety features, such as the warning that the hydraulic levelling legs may not be down. That stops the engine from starting. I will probably keep the interlocks that prevent the step being left out when you drive away. Some of the other voice-related warnings relating to the stuff on the roof. If I keep the night owl or the other mast, there are switches on those that will warn if you drive away with them open. So I will adapt this, the same as I did in my previous ambulance I will adapt this system so that I can leave this turned on when the engine's running, but I don't need it turned on when we're parked up. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I've literally just taken the seats out, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour ago. And this is what most people will see when they first buy themselves an ex-ambulance to convert. Lots and lots of cables. In many cases, lots and lots of chopped off cables, or cables that aren't connected to anything. That cable there, I'll say straight away, that one there is what went to the radio. There was a radio in the top of this cabinet, so that one I will be replacing because the chances I'm going to try and fit a radio up here somewhere. There's it. Here we are. So at the moment you can see in the bottom row there's a light on the one that says dish up and mast up. That is because both of the switches for those are either disconnected or faulty, and therefore it thinks both of those items are up even though they're not. There's a light there for the legs and the side step to show whether they're deployed. They're handy things to have, and that's partly why I shall keep Genisys. The other useful thing, to a degree, is you get some kind of battery status information. Right, so back inside here. Lots and lots of things have been removed. Obviously the radio equipment that used to be in this van is all gone. So there, straight away, there's a live cable there. That's the feed. That's the power, the thick power lead that goes to the buzz bar that Genisys is connected to. Genisys gets its power via these screws in the centre here. So the modules are actually powered through that central screw, and that's off that buzz bar. You can see there's a cable being chopped off there. So that's that little spigot there. It's got 12 volts on it. There's a bunch of relays. Bunch of fuses, not labelled. That one down the bottom there looks like it's blown, as best as I can see. There's a bunch of relays. Somebody's been in here with sticky tape, almost illegible, but there's proper labels down there that say what they are, although where it says normally open white and normally open violet, I've got no idea what they are yet, but I will trace them down. There's leftovers from the radio system. So a fair chunk of this stuff will be going almost straight away. There's the siren amplifier there. I don't actually know if the siren still works in this van or not. I haven't tested it. What I want to do is put a little speaker across there and find the bullhorn function. I've got what appears to be a switch in the floor. I'm not sure I don't think that's a standard switch in a Iveco van, so I think I've got a switch in the floor. Now, let's go over here. I reckon the radio equipment originally was on this wall where these screws are. So there's loads and loads of wires there, and bits of antenna stuff. All of that, or nearly all of that, is going to be redundant. So that would be the first stuff I get rid of, just because they run through into the waterproof connectors here, come inside this box. I'll get rid of most of that, and that starts to make things a little bit easier. And that's really just a process of elimination. You take everything out, bit by bit by bit, identifying what the cables are, identifying whether they're redundant or not. The white cable there, that is the Cat5 network cable that goes up to these controllers, and it disappears up the side of the van here. It's underneath the mat there, and it's a bit trapped. It's a bit trapped underneath the step plastic, which I don't particularly like. I found some MDF. Never would have thought anyone would be using MDF in a vehicle. But the cables, you can see, they run all the way up to the top there, and likewise along here. Some of the cabling runs up there, and they've got these nice, interesting little round connection points. These are where the cabling for the two Cosmil sockets on the side there. There's the 230-volt one there, and the 150 watts below it. They put them in these little terminal blocks inside waterproof capped covers. The 115-volt one, the yellow wire there, that's coming out. I should get rid of that. I'm quite surprised that the entire cab wall's gone. You can see where I removed the aluminium trim around here, but I will be cutting a bigger opening all the way down. I expected to see something left over from the original back of the metal cab of the van, but you can see it's gone, because that is where the red cab wall would have originally been, and then you've got the box of the van bolt on the back. There's no sign of any stress cracking, no problems, no leaks, so it's all nice and rigid. Got a bit more down in the corner there, which you can't quite see, but there's another collection of leaves and nuts and things from, I think the squirrels must have managed to get through the top hole, but I haven't found any chewed cables yet. So I thought I'd do a quick video on exactly what I found in this van, what I expected to see, which was this red light here for the damaged cabling. Then we got a load of lights there, which at the moment I can't actually read the labels. One of the most important things with any Genisys setup is these labels. Sometimes you'll find they're either missing or been peeled off, and then you're really guessing then. But what I have noticed while I've been talking is down there, it looks like every single cable's got a label on it. That'd be really handy if they relate to anything understandable. And there's some little buzz bars down there as well. It's interesting how they've done those. But I shall explore gradually. The torch with the charger, that can come off straight away. And again, I'll track that through. But this may be just one of several videos I do about the 12-volt circuit in this van. But as I say, the main thing to do is not to be frightened of the Genisys system, or Phoenix for that matter. Just identify the cables individually and work through them one by one.